If you're looking for ways to improve your life, focusing on more than just your appearance can be incredibly beneficial. In today's podcast, we're going to go over some tips and tricks to help you enhance your life in ways that go beyond your physical appearance. As you guys know, I'm a boudoir photographer and a mindset coach. While I was in the process of transitioning through my own self-love journey, I began a 30-day vlogging challenge that it literally gave you guys some behind the scenes of what I was doing, what I was going through, how my business was flourishing, how I was keeping self-discipline in my life in order to help boost my self-confidence, which led to my YouTube series on boosting your self-confidence through self-discipline. When it comes to being a body image coach as well, a lot of things that come to me from, I want to say, clients or potential clients is their main thing is worrying about their weight and how they can inspire themselves to stay motivated during hard times, because mainly it's either a financial problem, a relationship problem with their business or their significant other, or they're just mentally having self-doubt live rent-free. So one thing I want to go over today, not even one, there's a few tips and tricks that I'm going to go over with you guys to help you literally improve your life by not only focusing on just your appearance and learning to accept your flaws as something that can be looked at as a positive inspiration to keep you going. So I'm just going to jump right into it because we already did the intro, so y'all already know how we about to do this. So I have about, I want to say 5 things that I want to give you guys. It's always either 3 or 5 things that I'm helping y'all on, because those were some step-by-step things that I needed to be helped with when I was going through my self-love journey and my self-care path. So I definitely want to share it with you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and stop rambling on and start with practicing self-care. The crazy part is a lot of us hear the word self-care but have no idea how to do it, how it started, because growing up, we weren't taught these things. We weren't taught that, self-care is creating boundaries and having self-discipline. We were taught self-care was going outside and not being on the game all day, or actually going and hanging out with friends, or going to the nullery, or getting your hair cut. Those were things that were considered self-care because, again, that's what the name of the podcast is, self-ish. So we're learning how to do things that are going to not only boost our self-confidence through self-discipline, but also teach us how to unlearn bad habits that were created when we were younger. So the main focus is to unlearn what we were taught growing up. Because listen to another podcast, I talked about this previously, on how grandmom and mom and dad and grandpop didn't have the same resources when it came to self-care and self-love as we do now when it comes to therapy and podcasts and online coaches. So I definitely want to stress that if you want to improve your life, focusing on more than just your appearance, such as practicing self-care, is important for both your physical and mental health. So make sure that you take the time for yourself each day to do activities that make you feel good. And I mean, like I said, we were taught certain activities to make us feel good as definitions of self-care, but when you get older and start realizing what are your love languages and realizing that your love languages are things that you were lacking as a child, so you're craving for them in your adult years, you will understand that this could be anything from taking a relaxing bath to practicing yoga or meditation. Self-care has a huge umbrella, such as becoming in the medical field, and you're RN or CNA or LPN or occupational therapist. I used to want to be an occupational therapist for rehabilitation. That is my favorite word. But as I'm telling you guys, practicing self-care is important for both your physical and mental health. We were taught a certain way growing up, but in your adult years, if you want to improve your life besides just your appearance, you need to understand that self-care does not just fall around how good you look and that new Nike outfit that you just got, or that new sweatpants suit, or them new sneakers, or that haircut and hairstyle that you got. Yes, those are ways to invest back into yourself and do things for yourself, but in the same motion, you need to remind yourself that self-care is a huge umbrella. It's a huge industry that, I don't even want to say industry. I started thinking about entertainment industry and all of that good stuff when I said umbrella. But it's a huge umbrella as far as like the example I gave when the medical field comes along. And you got different stages of being in the medical field. Self-care is the same way. You got different forms of giving yourself back self-care. Like I gave the examples of relaxing baths and practicing yoga and meditation. Those are all forms of self-care. in our adult years, we need to teach ourselves that yes, it's okay to want to better ourselves mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, sexually even, but in the same token, emotion, if you are not having the proper resources to help guide you, then you are literally, it's pointless. You're starting from scratch. You're going to keep starting from scratch. And I keep telling everybody it's important to know your worth and your value. So that table that they keep screaming for you to bring, I really hate that saying, but that saying, what do you bring to the table, instead of asking what's needed at the table, or where's this table going in a year from now, and do it got rollies at the bottom of it? Like, those are significant questions to ask. I talked about that in another podcast, but in this podcast specifically, I'm teaching you guys that self-care is another method that you need to focus on when it comes to improving your appearance. And self-care can be different forms, but you have to figure out exactly what are some ways that, well, not even ways, but what are some things that you enjoy personally doing that allows you to fill your cup back up with joy. The second thing you can do to help you improve your life, besides focusing on your appearance, is setting attainable goals. So what I mean by setting goals is setting goals that gives you something to work towards and can help give you, well, they can help give your life direction. And another podcast, I'm going to be dropping information on, not even information, I'll give you guys a step-by-step, I want to say, tutorial on how to set attainable goals that are actually achievable and can resonate with your end goal to help you focus throughout the year. But for today's podcast, number 2's focus is just setting goals that can give you something to work towards, that can help give your life some direction. So I want to tell you to make sure to set the goals that are actually achievable, like I said, and I'll teach you that in a later podcast, but also make sure that they're realistic. You don't want to sit out there and say, hey, my goal is to, for example, I'll use mine. My goal is to inspire 10,000 women and non-binary genders to learn how to love themselves before trying to love someone else, by boosting their self-confidence through self-discipline. Now, that right there is a realistic goal. I can work on teaching you guys how to build self-confidence, self-discipline, and prioritizing productivity, because those were the main things that I started out with within my brand, and I have expertise when it comes to that. So me setting that goal as far as, oh, well, how am I going to do this? And I want to have this done by the end of the year, and me helping people literally is something that I can track, keep in progress with me. I can make videos like I'm doing podcasts, something I can refer to for seasonal and yearly goals, and that's how I stay on track. But again, like I said, I'm going to teach you guys step by step on how to set these achievable goals so that they can actually be goals that you are having as realistic end goals. And then we'll learn how to better off focus on that. I don't want to focus too much on that because I feel like I'm still trying to add that into this podcast. But the main thing I wanted to leave you with is this could be anything as far as when I say setting attainable goals, as to learning a new skill or even teaching you how to save up for a vacation. So finances is setting a goal, your business goals, your personal life goals, your family goals. I know I have notes as far as when it came to my main topics. I wanted to do business, family, personal, and make goals for all three. So like I said, I'm trying not to give too much of it into this one, but that's the main thing as number 2 that you can do to help you improve your life besides focusing on your appearance. We got practice self-care for number 1, set attainable goals for number 2, and number 3, we're going to do build positive relationships. Building positive relationship with others can greatly improve your life. So surround yourself with people who uplift and support you. And this is so important when it comes to staying on top of your self-love journey. You need to focus on building connections with those who bring joy and positivity in your life. And Michael Todd said it best in his Relationship Goals book when he said, think about this. When God wants to bless you, how does he do it? He sends people into your life. When the devil wants to distract you or destroy you, how does he do it? He sends people into your life. So one of the ways you can improve your life, other than focusing on your appearance, is worrying about the relationships that are festering around you. Worry about the circle that you are forming and the people who are actually in it. A way that we can go about it, sorry y'all know my phone don't be on vibrate, but a way we can go about it and look towards this is the saying that they said back in the day. There are some sayings that I do like. Y'all know on certain podcasts I tell y'all I don't really care for them. But there's a saying of watch who you bring into your ship because they might be drilling holes in it. You know what I'm saying? That's not the quote exactly, but you know which one I'm referring to. And the reason why I say that is because you might have people in your life who are always negative, people who are always creating drama, people who tell you the truth, but it's always in a bend towards what's wrong in your life. And like Michael said, they're sucking and they're taking and they're making it harder for you to be who you were made to be. So if people who come into your lives are either a blessing or a curse, it's up to you to decipher if the relationship is going to push you towards God, or is it keeping you from God, well, what God has for you. And I couldn't have said it any better than what I had learned last night while reading this book. I had to put a note in it so I can share it with you guys today when it comes to the tips that I'm giving y'all and the tricks that I'm saying might help your daily routine and trying to boost your confidence through self-discipline. And building positive relationships is a significant way of building your self-confidence, because it teaches you self-discipline, because you're learning what you can tolerate and what you cannot tolerate, who you want in your circle, who you don't want in your circle, who you want to be around and who you don't want to be around. Like, you get where I'm going with this. So, like, surrounding yourself with people who uplift and support you. Like, focus on building connections with these people, because they bring joy and positivity into your life. They're not taking from you. Like he said, another way to put it is some relationships in your life may be more liabilities than assets. And it got me to start thinking, like, well, what kind of relationships do I have in my life that are actually taken away from me and not adding to me? And if you were asking yourself that too, I'm going to give you the same questions he gave me, so you can sit down and do some self-evaluating and figure out what's working for you, so you can stay on top of your self-love journey. I'm going to put this phone on vibrate too, but we're going to go ahead and jump into these questions and ask yourself. So make sure you got your little notebook, make sure you got your pen, and make sure you're getting ready, okay? We're jumping into it. So, what relationships in your life are taken from you is the first question. So you're going to write out all the relationships that you have when it comes to family, friends, business, liabilities, or anything of the sort. Not even liabilities, but we're going to find out later on down the line if it's a liability or not. But you're going to write out what relationship you're in and if it's taken from you. You're going to ask yourself, is it taking peace, taking joy, taking time, taking something you can never get back? Joy, time, peace. Those are three things on top of the fourth one, which is taking something you can never get back, that you also need to ask yourself and add into your journal. A final question that I want you to ask yourself is, what am I losing out on by removing these people from my life? And what I mean by that is you're asking yourself, what's the worst that can happen by removing this person from my life? And if you come up with a conclusion of, oh, nothing's going to happen, or, oh, you'll be by yourself, or, oh, this person will no longer talk to you, then that right there is why you need to start creating these self-boundaries in the first place. And like I said to y'all, for number 3, I can't stress this any more than what I've already done, but building positive relationships with others can greatly improve your life. Another takeaway is to volunteer or give back. This can also help improve your life outside of focusing on your appearance. If you are giving back to others, this can be incredibly fulfilling. Honestly, I enjoy it, so I'm listing it as one of the top 5 things that you can do to help improve your life outside of your parents. Because once you feel good, look good, you do good shit. And when you're doing good shit, you are feeling fulfilled. I went to church yesterday. It's Manifest Monday today. Don't know when I'm going to drop this podcast, but I definitely wanted to share it with y'all. And one of the things that was fulfilling for me was the fact that I volunteered by being the first one to give a testimony while I was in church. That's the first time I was ever comfortable enough to stand up. I was confident enough to stand up. This is how I know I'm growing stronger in my faith and wanting to become something better than what's already being presented to me. So that is one thing I will say as another takeaway for you guys, is to volunteer and give back. One of the things that I consider giving back as a form of self-care for me is giving back the time that I've invested into myself while I had a significant person with me. So that is big for me and my self-care. It is big to show appreciation. It's big to let her know that, like, hey, I appreciate all that you're doing, because, child, I'm not a morning person. I'm starting a routine to become a morning person, and I do not see me getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning, showering, getting ready to leave out for work, if I'm not getting up at 6:15 in the morning to give praise and worship to the Lord. So I definitely wanted to stress that for sure. But giving back is one of the things that I stress about mainly, especially if it's with a significant other. He may be somebody who is pouring life into you and somebody who is constantly telling you that I believe in you and I'm inspired by you and motivated by you, and actually showing you the proper way to be led. So that appreciation should come like second nature. And that is you giving back as well. You are learning how to, I want to say, commit to an understanding with this person or with this business or with this lifestyle that you are now trying to stay accustomed to. So giving back and volunteering is not just with other people and things around you, like community service or feeding the homeless, but giving back and volunteering could also be within your own home, your local neighborhood. There is organizations like the Little Sister and Big Brother program, or Big Sis and Big Bro program. There's also ways where you can volunteer and give back to your family. Like if you have an elder person in your family and you know for a fact that none of the other family members are actually going to their home to check up on them or calling them, and you're close by, even if you're not close by, but I promise you it would be fulfilling for you at the end of the day, because you know for a fact you volunteer and you gave back. And one of the things that millionaires focus on significantly, that I've told y'all before in other podcasts and YouTube videos, is time. Time is something that we take so for granted because we feel as though it was something that is given to us. But in all actuality, time is something you make. It was man-made, like I stressed in the last video and podcast. So it's something that you can do. It's something you can make and put together, because we all make time for the things that we want. So with that being said, I'm just going to leave that right there. But volunteering and giving back to others can be incredibly fulfilling. So look for ways to volunteer in your community or donate to causes that you actually care about. And this is another way that you can actually improve your life while actually not focusing on just your appearance. You can focus on someone else's life and focus on their appearance and focus on the good that they're giving into the world and how they're receiving what you're giving to them. But those are the main things that I wanted you to focus on when it came to, and understanding more so when I say volunteer and give back. It doesn't have to necessarily, like I keep saying, even though I'm giving examples, it doesn't have to be in the community. It can be right at your home, right where you wake up at, right where you go to sleep at. It could be at your poppy store. It could be, like I said, with a family member who is older that may not get the help that they need, but you know for a fact you got the time and the energy, because you got the strength that they might be lacking, and you want to feel fulfilled. Go out and do something that you are volunteering and giving back to, which is something that I'm going to tell you right now, and you kind of went over it, but time. Time is something you can focus on outside of your appearance when it comes to improving, you know what I'm saying, improving yourself, all right? Okay, our final takeaway, last but not least, to help you improve your life, besides focusing on your appearance, is to focus on personal growth. Personal growth is a lifetime journey. I am currently on it as well with you, so I can understand you over there moaning, groaning, and nagging about it. But it's a personal journey. It's a decision, it's a commitment, and it's a lifestyle. So if you are not fully committed to your actual wellness when it comes to focusing on your personal growth, then to be honest with you, you're going to be listening to podcasts like this until the end of damn time. So what we need to do is take some accountability and actually sit down and do the damn work. Personal growth, like I said, is a lifetime journey, well, a lifelong journey, but you have to make a commitment to learning and growing each day. This could be reading books, attending workshops, or taking courses, like the podcast you're listening to right now, finding me on Instagram as well, seeing me on YouTube, Funsize Photography, Funsize Creations. If you are tired of waiting for other content and you need the help, I am here for you. Send me a message. Send me a DM. Send me an email. There's multiple ways to get in contact with me so you can actually have an accountability buddy, an accountability coach, and somebody there that can guide you on actually making sure you're doing the inner work so you can reshape the beliefs that you had growing up. You can change those bad habits that were created and actually passed down to you from your caregiver without your permission. So you had no say-so or control over it. So this is also why I tell you guys on your self-love journey to don't beat yourself up when it comes to actually giving yourself kindness and actually being having gratification or gratitude towards a person, place, or thing within your life. If you actually want to improve your lifestyle, improve your well-being without focusing solely on your appearance, I want you to focus on your own personal growth. And like I said, this can be through the self-help books. There's plenty of books. I'll actually do another podcast. If you are on my YouTube page, there's a video dropping as well. And on my Instagram, there's a reel out currently. I went live and gave you guys book inspirations that helped me. Well, it's within the live. So it was book inspirations that helped me on my self-love journey, that helped my mental create the mindset that I have now and all of that other good stuff. I'm over here trying to recap everything that I put in the live. But I'll actually do a separate video and an actual separate podcast for you guys that actually help not helped, that actually had the books that I had on hand with me that helped me get through my journey. For example, the previously I mentioned the book by Michael Todd, Relationship Goals, which is helping me be successful when it comes to marriage, relationships with my life, and even winning in sex. So that's a super exciting book. If you guys haven't checked it out, be sure to check it out. And like I said, I'll drop that in a later podcast and video for you guys on additional books that helped me along my journey. If you haven't actually checked those videos out, or if this is your first time here, while I'm at it, thank you for even engaging in my crazy shenanigans and being willing to stand up for yourself by showing self-discipline and actually acknowledging out loud that this is something that you want to do to help not only support me, but help yourself become a well-being person, a well-rounded individual, an overall outstanding cadet, because I was in the military academy. So it's funny to say that just now. They tell you miss school, you won't miss school until you're out of school, and I definitely understand that now. But nonetheless, like I said, guys, remember, improving your life goes beyond just your physical appearance. So take time to focus on your mental and emotional well-being. Set achievable goals and build positive relationship with others. These are all ways that can help you improve your life outside of your appearance. And if this is your first time on this page, on this channel, on this podcast, be sure to leave me some feedback and let me know what are some things that may be hindering you from getting to your end goal of becoming a well-rounded individual, or what is stopping you from becoming the person you want to become overall is what I'm trying to get to you. Like, what is stopping and hindering you from becoming the woman that you see or the man that you actually see and compare yourself to? Like, what is in your way other than you? Figure out what they are and get it done. And that alone will help you improve your, that alone will help you not even improve your life, but it will also help you boost your self-confidence, and it will teach you self-discipline. And that is what this podcast is all about. With that being said, guys, if you are looking for help on your self-love journey, you are looking for an accountability partner or someone who can actually give you that little push that makes you feel like, if I just had that little bit of help, that little bit of energy, that little bit of courage, that step-by-step program and process that can help me, you are in the right place. And I want to say thank you for being a part of this team. With that being said, guys, I'm going to end this off how I end off all of my videos by saying, be you, do you, and be true. But more importantly, remember, learn to love yourself before trying to love someone else. Get out of here and do one thing today that will get you out your comfort zone, because somebody has to say it. Later for now, guys, and brrr.